Welcome back, distinguished learners and fantastic distance learners of the University of Ibadan. You are great. I can tell you that. I'm sure that we are having a very impressive time together. Again, we are back to LIN 243, Practical Phonetics. And then, of course, my name is Francis Egbokhare. We have an unfinished business, and that is what we started in module 7A, and we are now on the 7B. Tone and intonation is what we are going to be talking about. In our last session, we discussed pitch and tone. We are continuing the discussion by looking at the last part of the triad of pitch, tone, and intonation. And let me add that the very last part of this will be on stress. We are adding the stress parts for those of you who are taking courses in English as well, so that you can have some sense of stress in relation to pitch, tone, and intonation. So we are now starting something new, but simply proceeding. We are not starting something new, but simply proceeding with the objectives of the module. Just feel relaxed, with the same positive attitude and exploratory mindset, and let us have a great experience together. So at the end of this session, you will be able to define and describe intonation, describe how speech melody is produced, identify tones and intonation in a language you are familiar with, and then explain the way in which pitch, tone, and intonation interact to produce melody in speech. Then you will also be able to identify the importance of speech melody in communicating meaning. So, what is tone and intonation? You already have some idea of what tone is, but let's assume that we need to refresh ourselves, refresh our memories. Even though in speech we perceive pitch as an unbroken stream, the truth is that pitch is actually really present in voice segments only. Pitch is the continually changing in speech in accordance with the dynamics of production. This fluctuation in pitch gives the speech the melodic pattern. When you find this melodic pattern in speech, it's pitch that gives it that pattern. Speech melody is often distinctive. It may be indicative of a particular mood or a grammatical structure. In some languages, it may be necessary to define speech melody as part of grammatical structure. So, part of your grammar can be part of your lexical structure. Consequently, a change in speech melody is likely to change the meaning of a sentence, the meaning of a word. So when it changes the meaning of a word, you say that you are dealing with tones. When it changes the meaning of a sentence, you say you are dealing with intonation. Speech melody, when it behaves in this way, like changing the meaning of a sentence, we call it intonation. English employs falling, rising, and rising, falling intonation to signify a statement, a question, doubt, and certainty, respectively. In African languages, speech melody is best defined as a property of the word, called tone. I hope you are getting a better handle of tones now from this definition. Thus, a change in speech melody may result in a change in meaning of a word. Speech melody may even behave, when it behaves in this way, it's called a tone. I can't repeat this too often. Pike, let's give the classic definition of tone by Pike, 1948. It says a tone language is a language having lexically significant, contrastive, but relative pitch on each syllable. By this definition, it means that for a language to qualify as a tone language, it must employ pitch as part of lexical structure. The different pitch levels must contrast. In addition, it is the relative height of the tones, not their absolute pitch, that is important to their linguistic analysis. So, again, we are back to the fact that the pitch levels for tones are relative, they are not absolute. So, it's not material for us to know the number of vibrations per second of a certain syllable. The important feature is the relative height of a syllable in relation to preceding and following syllables. We compare on the basis of what precedes and follow. There's no absolute as far as relative pitch is concerned. All Nigerian languages, excluding Fulfulde, language of the Fulani, are tone languages. The languages differ on the pitch levels they realize, as well as the contrast established between these units. The following pairs of words in Emi are differentiated by tone alone. Let's look at the words. Oi, thief. Oi, pomade. Ove, monkey. Ove, trickery. Ode, we, ode, yesterday. Obi, enemy, obi, bad. Ekpa, vomit, and ikpa, a punch. You can see only the tonal combinations and nothing more. Let's take example from Igbo, another Nigerian language. And then of course, Igala, again a Yoruboid language in Nigeria. Let's take the Igbo examples first. Aqua, that's to cry. Aqua, that's cloth. Aqua, that's egg. Then aqua, bed. Let's take the examples from the Igala examples, which may even be quite interesting. Awo, which is a guinea fowl. Awo, an increase. Awo, which is a hole in a tree. And then awo, a slap. Awo, a comb. Fantastic. Can you see how these languages utilize combinations of pitch levels within a lexical form to make sense, to create meaning? That's why these languages are called tone languages. Now, what of intonation? The error is often made that intonation is a feature that is associated with European languages only. Any language that employs speech melody distinctively at the grammatical level, at the sentence level, may be said to exhibit intonational features. Intonation is the fluctuation of pitch of voice or speech melody. Such fluctuation is a universal facility exploited by all languages to convey certain affective meaning or grammatical information. English has two basic intonational patterns, which may be used alone or in combination. I'm talking about the colonial English that we have inherited, because there are many new Englishes now. There are Englishes all over. There's a Nigerian English as well. These are known as tune 1, which is the falling intonation, and tune 2, which is the rising intonation. In the former, there is a fall in pitch on the last primary stress syllable in the sentence. Other stress syllables may occur in the sentence, and the melody may rise slightly in other parts of the sentence. The vowel U is often produced with a falling intonation when fans boo players during soccer matches in Nigeria. Let's illustrate the tune 1 in English. So you can see from the graph. In tune 1, the sentence ends with an upward swing or rise in pitch. It is the converse of tune 1. The pitch of the voice may start with a very low pitch and rise gradually to the highest point at the end. Alternatively, there may be a pitch fluctuation, that is a rise and fall in pitch within the sentence, but a final rise must occur in tune 2. This often applies in long sentences with 2 or more phases. The vowel A is pronounced with a rising intonation as an indication of support or approval during soccer matches in Nigeria. The same vowel may be said with a falling intonation to express disappointment, shock, or simply an exclamation. So you can say A, just as a sign of approval in soccer. But you can say yeah, and so on, as a sign of disappointment or shock, or simply as an exclamation. Let's look at the illustration of the pattern. You should visit him soon. Or, don't fret, John will be all right. You should visit him soon. Don't fret, John will be all right. It's also used for information in English. Tune 1 is used in the following environments. In a statement, he killed the cat. In WH questions, who killed the cat? Why did he come? In command, shut the door. In yes, no question, you will use tune 2. Will you come to my house? In polite encouragement, requests, or warnings, you can have, don't fret, John will be all right. Turn the light off, or turn off the light, please. You will suffocate if you don't take it off. It is also used to express doubt or surprise. I think the Iraqis might win the war. I don't think John could run so fast. It is also used for incomplete statements. When Mary died, It means that the sentence has not been completed. Both patterns combined can also occur. It is possible to combine both types of intonation patterns in normal discourse. Such combinations are usually elicited in the following environments. For listening, I killed a cat, a dog, and a chicken. I killed a cat, a dog, and a chicken. For sentences with two or more clauses, when Mary died, John threw a party. The rising tone in these sentences signals to us that we have not got to the end of the sentence. Now, also for quoted utterances. Get out of here. No, get out of here, he roared angrily. Will John come? He asked anxiously. For question tags, he killed the cat, didn't he? John will come, won't he? And then for antithesis, John came to my farm, not yours. John came to my farm, not yours. So these are some of the use of the intonation in English. But let's take the African languages. African languages employ intonation in several ways. In AMI, yes, no questions are differentiated from statement through the question intonation. But for intonation, both will be undifferentiated. The question intonation sets a new tonal register in AMI. In other words, it sets a different level, totally different level of pitch occurrence in the language. What this means, you'll see when we pronounce some example. The last high tone in the question intonation in a sentence is realized as an extra high, while the phenomenon of terracing is suspended also. This situation mimics the Hausa yes no question, where there is also a total or partial suspension of downdrift, plus the addition of an extra high tone at the end of the question, followed by a raised low. Now let's take some example. Oje lo che bo che va re. That's a statement. You will observe the different perturbations of high and lows. Question. Oje lo che bo che va re. Oje lo che bo che va re. Oje lo che bo che va re. Let me take it very slowly. Oje lo che bo che va re. Question. Oje lo che bo che va re. You observe that there's a new register set. So exercise, let's take this exercise. What are the command forms, question types, different moods, tense and aspects in your language? Because in many African languages, the difference between aspects or tenses may be largely totally dependent or partially dependent on the intonation. So look at your language and see if that is the case. And then of course, there are a lot of pragmatic functions that intonation plays. Write out 2 sentences of each type of these commands, questions, moods, and so on in your language, and then read them out aloud, record them, and see if there are distinct melodies or rhythm associated with each type. As much as possible, ensure that the words are clearly the same. Now listen to the following yes, no questions, mood and special forms in the sentences in AMI. Let's listen. Take the sentence, you have killed a cat. Ugbofe, you have killed a cat. Ugbofe, you killed a cat. Ugbofe. Did you kill a cat? Ugbofe. Then emphasis, you killed a cat. Ugbofe. And then, so you can see a lot of the examples showing that it's only for intonation, you will not know the difference between a present tense, a past tense and an emphatic sentence, emphatic mood, and so on and so forth. Let's even take some examples of the future, the immediate and remote future as examples. Ulogbofi is you will kill a rat. Ulogbofi, you are about to kill a rat. The difference is simply the nature of the tones on U, which is for you will, you have a high, and you are about to, it's a low. So, and I think we can do a lot more examples from different languages where you can use intonation to perform pragmatic functions. Have you ever been asked your mom if you should eat something? Let's take a Yoruba, for instance, and you say, "Mommy, I want to eat these beans." And she says, "Je." So, or she simply says, "Je." Both mean different things. And part of the meaning is the fluctuation in pitch, which sounds, you are not allowed to eat it. When he says, "Je, I dare you to eat it," it's different from "Je," which means go ahead and eat it, my loving child. Here we end this aspect of tone and intonation, and I think you probably have had enough already for this talk. We will now go and wrap up with the stress, which is just simply something we want to give to you for those of you who are students of English who may want to know exactly how stress works. So for stress, we are going to just pay attention to the to just the basics.